Over 19,000 days passed between the New York Knicks' last two NBA championships. So let's really quickly take a look at what was going on when they won in 1973. Landline phone to communicate. The Miami Dolphins went undefeated and haven't done anything since. And Elvis Presley and Bob Marley were still alive, and Michael Jackson was 14 years old. Now, 53 years later, in 2026, the New York Knicks had a run for the ages, going 16-3 in the NBA playoffs, winning the NBA Finals for the first time in 53 years. But just 6 years ago, in 2020, they weren't in a too good of a spot. They went just 21-45 in the bubble-shortened year. So here's how they built into the amazing team they are now. So at this point, the Knicks were long removed from the Melo and Amari Stoudemire days and pretty much had no direction. In the draft, they had the 8th overall pick and took Obi Toppin, a pick that didn't really work out for them. And in free agency, they brought in guys like Derrick Rose and Taj Gibson. But these moves they made, along with the hiring of head coach Tom Thibodeau, actually ended up working out for them this year. The season started in late December because this was the year after COVID, and they began the year 5-8. Entering March, though, they were 18-17, so after being pretty up and down, they won 9 straight and went 16-4 in their last 20 to finish 41-31. Julius Randle won the Most Improved Player of the Year, the Knicks got the 4 seed, and they made the playoffs for the first time since 2013. In the first round, they drew the Atlanta Hawks, and in Game 1, they would go down 10 points after a quarter. Obi Toppin threw down a big dunk to make it a 4-point game early in the second. And in Game 1, New York would keep it close, but Trae Young hit a floater and shushed the New York crowd, who would see a singular playoff win in Game 2, but the Knicks dropped both games in Atlanta, and in Game 5, Trae dropped 36 points and won. To this day, a half-decade, 5 years later, Knicks fans will still chant F Trae Young. Let it go, bro. It's been 5 years. And don't even bother wearing a Trae Young jersey outside MSG, bro. You're getting jumped. Now, this year, New York didn't really do too much, aside from drafting Deuce McBride, but they did lose Reggie Bullock and Alfred Payton. They opened the year at home, and they got a double overtime thriller against Boston, despite letting Marcus Smart get open for a 3, but they did still get the win. They began the year 5-1 before losing 11 of 17. They lost to Memphis and were 24-28 at the deadline, and then in February and March, they went on a 1-11 stretch, and at 34-43, New York ended up being eliminated, and the season was over. But what caused this random regression? Well, Julius Randle, their best player, shot 41% from the field and 31% from 3. Kemba Walker got hurt. Derrick Rose also got hurt, and their backcourt defense was kind of... Now, in free agency, the Knicks gave Dallas Mavericks point guard Jalen Brunson a 4-year, $104 million deal. The previous playoffs with the Mavericks, JB had balled out for a couple games in the absence of Luka Doncic and kept it up the rest of the playoffs. Now, Knicks fans, actually a lot of people, most people thought this deal was horrible. They gave Jalen Brunson, who had mostly been a role player for the majority of his career, $26 million a year. No one thought this was a good move. And then also under the radar move was signing Isaiah Hartenstein to a 2-year, $16 million deal. And then following Brunson's first game against Dallas, the Knicks sat at just 10-13. Sorry, I made a quick jump between the offseason and the regular season. That's my bad. But first 23 games, the Knicks went just 10-13 before going on an 8-game winning streak, and a 5-game losing streak, and a 4-game win streak. At the deadline, the Knicks were 30-26 before they made a trade at the deadline for Josh Hart of the Portland Trail Blazers. Now, he is, in fact, if you take a look at the thumbnail, the ultimate glue guy. The Knicks went 17-9 the rest of the way. Julius Randle averaged 25, 10, and 4. Brunson averaged 24 and 6 assists. R.J. Barrett averaged 20 points. And the Knicks went 47-35 and got the 5 seed. And in the first round, they matched up with Donovan Mitchell and the Cleveland Cavaliers. In Game 1 of this series, the Knicks started out on a 9-2 run early on. Cleveland very quickly got back in when and took the lead, and New York led 30-22 after one before going up 12 in the early second. New York's lead was pretty slim entering the second half, though. The Knicks got the lead back up to 8 with 3.5 to go in the quarter. Brunson in the third put up 12 points and 2 assists. He was dominating. And then New York took a 10-point lead halfway through the fourth quarter. Then Mitchell hits this tough layup to make it a 5-point game with 3 minutes to go. Then the Cavs cut it to 1, and with 2:12 to go, Jared Allen tips a ball in to give Cleveland their first lead since the first quarter. Then Josh Hart drills a massive triple, Brunson hits a long two, and then an off-the-glass floater for his 27th point made it a 4-point game with 35 seconds, and the Knicks won 101-97. Josh Hart was big for them off the bench in a game where R.J. Barrett and Julius Randle struggled, but Donovan Mitchell for the Cavs put up 38 points, balling out in a game 1, which is pretty standard for him. Now, in Game 2, Randle shot 8 for 20, Brunson shot 5 of 17, the Knicks let Garland score 32, and the Cavs won by 17. Then the series shifted to New York, and the Knicks' defense was incredible. They held the Cavs to 79 points, forced 21 turnovers, and won by 20 to go up 2-1. Game 4 at MSG with the chance to go up 3-1. They started the first with a 30-23 lead, and then in the second, the Knicks went up 15 points, but early in the third, Cleveland made it a 4-point game. Darius Garland was balling in the quarter for the Cavs. He had 9 points. He also threw a lob to Jared Allen that gave the Cavs their first lead of the game. The Knicks led by 2 after 3, however. Then in the fourth, Donovan Mitchell went cold, and R.J. Barrett put the Knicks up 7. Then Josh Hart went at Jared Allen for a layup, then threw down a dunk, just beat the shot clock on a fadeaway, got a huge O board, and dished it out to Jalen Brunson for a dagger 3, complete with the Mike Breen dime, as the Knicks were 1 win away from their first playoff series win in 9 years. Josh Hart was really the MVP of this game because he was amazing down the stretch. And in Game 5, 23 from Brunson and 18 rebounds from Mitchell Robinson ended the drought, and the Knicks would face the 8-seeded Heat, who would just upset the Bucks in the first round. This was supposed to be a surefire pass to the Eastern Conference Finals, but 2023 Jimmy Butler, man, this was my first year watching the NBA. Just watching this guy dominate was absolutely peak. And he was out for blood, unfortunately, for the Knicks, and he averaged 27, 5, and 6, and knocked out New York in the 6 games. The Knicks' offseason was pretty uneventful. They didn't even have a draft pick, so mostly they ran it back. They opened the year against Boston and lost a tight game. Then they played their first ever NBA Cup game shortly after, which was a loss to Milwaukee. And the Knicks started with a record of 17-15 in 2023. Right before the 2024 calendar year began, they traded Emmanuel Quickley, R.J. Barrett, etc., for OG Anunoby, etc. Then they went on an 8-game winning streak, went 14-2 in January, but then Julius Randle dislocated his shoulder, and in April the Knicks shut down dubious handles for the year with a shoulder injury. Then they won 4 straight to end the year, won a 5th in overtime against Chicago, and again the Brunson dropped 40, and they finished 50-32, got the 2 seed, and would play the Sixers in round 1. A team that was actually going to be a tough opponent, because remember, the only reason they were number 7 this year was because Embiid missed a lot of time. And in Game 1, Philly started up set with a 17-7 lead early on, trailed by 13 after the first quarter, however. Then the Knicks took the lead with 5 minutes in the first half, and then Joel Embiid has this sick play where he throws it off the glass to himself, almost taking out his knee while doing so. But he did end up coming back, and his team trailed by double digits at halftime, even though he had 18 points and 5 boards. Jalen Brunson put New York back up by 14 with a bucket, and then Philly took the lead back late in the third. Then Embiid, we got to shout out this play, threaded the needle on a full-court dime to Kelly Oubre for a 2-handed slam. The Sixers led 82-79 entering the fourth. However, New York would take the lead back. Josh Hart put them up 5 with 4 minutes to go. Then Brunson hit a midi. Tyrese Maxey hit a D3. Josh Hart made a 6-point lead, OG hit a 3, and it made it a 7-point game, complete with the Mike Breen bang, and the Knicks took Game 1, 111-104. In Game 2, right away, the Sixers got on a 9-2 run, and they led 25-18 after, and led by 4 at halftime. Late in the third, the Knicks took the lead for the very first time and led 79-74 after 36 minutes. Philly tied the game at 94 with 3.5 to go. Isaiah Hartenstein hit his patented floater. Tyrese Maxey put Philly up 4. Kyle Lowry put the Sixers up 5. Then Brunson got a bounce on a 3 to make it 101-99 with 27 seconds. And Brunson was pretty bad on this night. He shot 8 for 29. Then New York pretty obviously got away with the foul. Hart found DiVincenzo for a 3, no good. OG board, back out. Dante, same spot, same result, complete with the Mike Breen double bang on the MSG broadcast. New York got a stop. OG hit both free throws. Embiid missed a 3, and the Knicks made an amazing comeback to win it 104-101 on a night where Embiid had 34, 10, and 6, and Maxey 35, 9, and 10. Philadelphia took Game 3 at home to make it a 2-1 series, with Joel Embiid playing through Bell's palsy, a facial condition, and he still managed to drop 50 points while also playing on knees that were just holding him up. But no one thought he should have scored 50 because he very clearly pulled down Mitchell Robinson's injured ankle, which should have been a flagrant 2. The Joel Embiid hate train was at a full capacity in the summer of 2024. And I was on it. I'm not even going to go. I was on it. Philly got a pretty good start. They led 27-17 after the first. New York went on a big run early in the second and took the lead with 5:21. Philly led 49-47 at halftime and quickly went up by 10 in the third, but the Knicks took the lead back 77-76 after 3. Then Kelly Oubre put the Sixers up 90-89 with 5 minutes. Deuce McBride went 2 for 3 at the line. Jalen Brunson went 1 for 2. Then he hit a floater, and Embiid went 1 for 2. But New York closed it out, went up 3-1 with a 97-92 win. Brunson dropped 10 assists to go along with his franchise playoff record 47 points. Embiid and Maxey had 27 and 23 respectively, but it wasn't enough, and New York was 1 game away from the second round. In Game 5, Philly started right away on a 10-2 run and led 26-17 after a quarter. Knicks took the lead in the second and led by 10 late in the half. They led by 6 at the break, and Tyrese Maxey had 15 points though. The Knicks led 70-69 at one point, and New York led 89-86 with 2 minutes to go. Then Miles McBride hit a jumper to make it 96-90 with 28 seconds. Tyrese Maxey hit an and-one 3 that he pretty obviously traveled on, but the refs kind of let him do that to repay him for Game 2, I guess, and rightfully so. Josh Hart went 1 for 2 at the line. Maxey drills a 34-footer to tie the game at 97, and thanks to his 47 points, the Sixers won in overtime and forced a Game 6. Jalen Brunson put up a 40 ball for the Knicks, and by Game 6, Philadelphia had gotten tired of playing the series in either Madison Square Garden or Madison Square Garden, Pennsylvania, so ownership brought 2,000 tickets to sell to Sixers fans. And to start an MSG Pen, the Knicks started out on an 11-2 run. They led 36-22 after 1, but however, they were outscored by 17 points, and the Sixers led by 3 at halftime. Philly led by 10 in the third, but New York came back to tie. Fast forward, 1:11 to go, and Kelly Oubre makes it 109-108. Brunson hits a midi, and Tyrese Maxey tied the game with 34 seconds. Josh Hart hit a huge three-pointer to put the Knicks up by 3, and a bunch of free throws, and a Buddy Hield missed 3 later. The Knicks closed the series in 6 and advanced in the second round. Brunson was amazing once again, his third straight 40-piece, 41 and 12 dimes. Embiid also had a big game, but in the second round, they met the Pacers, reviving an old-school rivalry. This was round number 8 at this point, and Indiana had won 4 out of 7 series. Game 1, it was back and forth, but the Knicks led by 27-24 after the first. Indy led by 9, however, at the end of the second, until Isaiah Hartenstein hit a half-court buzzer beater. Late in the third, former Knick Obi Toppin puts the Pacers up by 7 with an East Bay dunk. Fast forward to 3:29, Brunson ties it at 109. Fast forward a bit later, New York leads 118-117. Jalen Brunson throws the ball away, and then Dante pulls out his inner OKC player and absolutely lets the flop go, and the Knicks go at 2-9. Brunson and Hart have 43 and 24 respectively, and the Knicks held Tyrese Halliburton to just 6 points. And in Game 2, they quickly jumped out to an 11-point lead in the first before losing Brunson to an ankle injury on the 54th anniversary of Willis Reed's return game in the finals. The Pacers went on a 13-2 run in the first quarter. The game was tied at 38 after 1. Indiana went up 11 at half. Then the Knicks went on an 8-2 run with Jalen Brunson pulling a Willis Reed. And New York went on to win in the fourth. Rick Carlisle was ejected. Halliburton had 34, 6, and 9. Brunson, Anunoby, and Dante dropped 29, 28, and 29. And of course, New York let Reggie Miller know how they feel about him. And in Game 3, the series shifts to downtown Indy, and the Pacers, in front of their home crowd, go on a 14-4 run to start. They lead by 9 after the first quarter. The Knicks took a lead back in the second. Indy then goes on an 11-2 run to go back up 8. Then the Knicks went on an 11-0 run. And Dante DiVincenzo, who dropped 35 for the game, hits a 2 to put the Knicks up in the third. Indiana takes a 199 lead with 5:42 to go. Pascal Siakam hits 2 shots to go up by 3. Brunson hits a tying triple, and Andrew Nembhard, who at this point was 1 for 7, hits a game winner, and the Pacers win 111-106. True example of never lose confidence and keep shooting. Hallie had 35 and 7 assists, Pascal had 26, and Miles Turner had 21 and 10 boards. And for the Knicks, Brunson had 26 on 26 shots, and Josh Hart had 18 rebounds. At this point, New York had lost Bogdan Bogdanovic, Mitchell Robinson, and Julius Randle for the year, and the other thing they lost was their 2-0 lead, as Indiana whoops New York from the start in Game 4. Brunson shot 6 of 17, Hart shot 1 of 6, DiVincenzo shot 3 of 13, and Indiana would win 121-89. However, the Knicks returned the favor in Game 5, winning by 30. Brunson put up 44 and 7. Hart had 18 and 11 boards, and the Knicks were 1 win away from their first ECF since 2024. However, in Game 6, the Pacers were not done, as Siakam had 25, 7, and 5. Hallie had 15, 6, and 9, and MSG would host Game 5 for the first time since 1995. And they know what happened in 1995. The exact same thing as 2024, because at this point, the Knicks were without Bogdanovic, Randle, and Robinson, and Josh Hart was playing through a muscle strain. OG hurt his hamstring, Brunson broke his hand, Indy shot an NBA playoff record 67% from the field in Game 7, shot a scorching 54% from 3. Hallie had 26, 6, and 6 threes. Also, shout out to Dante, who had 39 in this one and averaged 23 a game in this series. The injury bug really teamed up with the Pacers to get the win, just to turn on Indiana, taking Hallie, and led to them being swept by the eventual champion Celtics. In the offseason, New York drafted point guard A.J. Mitchell, but unfortunately they traded him to Oklahoma City for the 40th pick in cash. But the real offseason move was trading Julius Randle and Dante DiVincenzo to Minnesota for Karl Anthony Towns. And so they opened the year on the road against Boston, and normally opening night, first game of the season, a team's coming out at home after getting rings. Normally, it's great and enjoyable for the fans because a good game has been provided after 4 months of nothing. But not on this night. The Knicks let the Celtics tie the NBA's single-game three-point makes record with 29. Then they got revenge on Indiana in game number 2, and then early on in the season, Trae Young dropped 23, 6, and 10, and they let Zachary Risacher drop 33 on them, and at this point, they were 3 and 4. They beat Milwaukee in a cup game. Cat had 32 and 11. Jalen Brunson dropped 15 to go along with 9 assists, and then he returned to Philadelphia, and despite him winning two NCAA championships for Villanova, the fans were not exactly happy to see him. I mean, the last 2 times he was there, he dropped 47 and 41. They also weren't happy to see Embiid, in his first game this year, shoot 2 of 11, or to see him and PG play 60 combined games. Man, Sixers fans weren't happy about anything this year. Or ever, actually. Then Trae Young eliminated New York from the Cup, but they followed this up with an 8-game winning streak. They won 5 straight to end the month of January before losing at home to the Lakers. However, this game would be overshadowed by the stupidity of the Dallas Mavericks, which Los Angeles and especially New York have been reaping. They headed into the All-Star break at 36-18, although they did just go 15-13 the rest of the way, and finished 51-31, got the 3 seed in the East. They hosted the Pistons in round 1, a team that hadn't won a playoff series since 2008. In Game 1, the first half in New York City was tight, but the young Pistons had a big third, only for the Knicks to go up 21-0 to go for our 21-0 run. Campaign had 10 points and 2 threes, and one of which complete with the Mike Breen bang. Knicks won 12 and led the series 1-0. Cat had 23 points and 11 boards, Brunson had 34 and 8 assists, and they held Cade Cunningham to 8 for 21 shooting in his offs debut. Offs is short for playoffs, by the way. Game 2 at home, and the Pistons jumped out to a 25-18 first quarter, behind 8 from Cade and 6 from Jalen Duren. Detroit then went up by 12 in the second quarter. Pistons led 55-49 at halftime. Then Detroit went up by 15 in the third. Knicks trailed by 8 with 5 minutes. Then Cade threw a lob to Jalen Duren. Brunson went 2 of 3 at the line, and the Knicks trailed 94-92. Then Josh Hart threw down a dunk, but the Knicks never scored again. The Pistons closed out their first playoff win in 18 years. Cade got his first playoff dub and dropped 33. Brunson had 37, but the series was tied at 1 apiece heading to Detroit. And in Game 3, New York jumped out to a 17-8 lead, led by 6 after the first. Detroit took their first lead with 6:46 in the second, before the Knicks went on a 16-2 run and at the break led 66-53 chance. They led by 10 after 3 quarters, and in the third, Pistons fans started chanting "F you, Brunson." This didn't go well, by the way. JB hit a huge 2 to go 5 with 124, another bucket, a couple free throws. Knicks win 118-116 to go up 2-1. Brunson had 30, Cat had 31, Bridges had 20, OG had 22, Josh Hart had 6 points on 7 shots, but 9 assists and 11 rebounds. Sorry, I had a voice crack. I had to stop the camera. Game 4 in Detroit with a chance to go up 3-1. The Knicks started on an 18-8 run and led 29-19 after a quarter. They went up 14 at one point in the second and led by 7 at half. Then the Pistons went on a big run to go up 71-64 in through 3 quarters. Tim Hardaway Jr. hits a 3 to put the Pistons up 84-79. Jalen Brunson hit back-to-back shots to tie the game. Pistons got a few shots. Cat hit a 3 to make it 87-88. Then Tim Hardaway hit a 3. Brunson scored. Hardaway knocks down a 2. Cat hit a 3. And Karl Anthony Downtowns hit a go-ahead to make the score 94-93. Then on the final possession, the Knicks clearly got away with the foul, but the refs just ignored it, and New York went up 3-1. Game 5 back at MSG, a chance to win the series for the Knicks. Right away, the Pistons started on a 9-2 run, but the Knicks took a 23-22 first quarter lead. Second quarter was very back and forth as OG had 12 points. Pistons took the lead in the third, leading 77-74 after the third quarter. Cade put Detroit up by 5 with 4 minutes to go. Mikal Cat hit a big 3. Jalen Duren threw down 2 dunks. Cade and Mikal scored. Asar Thompson put the Pistons up 6. And Jalen Brunson, who had to lead the game with 3 minutes because the MSG court slimed his ankle. And since there were no stoppages, Brunson could not come back in until 28 seconds left. And at that point, it was too late. Pistons lived to fight another day. In Game 6 in Detroit, New York jumped out to a 14-point lead after a quarter before the Pistons just erased it, going up by 1 at the half. Then in the third, the Knicks went up by 11. 5 minutes to go now. Josh Hart lays it up to tie the game. Jalen Duren and Asar Thompson put Detroit up 110-105. Tim Hardaway Jr. hit a 2. Brunson got an and 1 and then another bucket. Cat and Duren each split free throws. Mikal Bridges hit a tying tip. And then Jalen Brunson, who was voted the clutch player of the year, got the ball, crossed up Asar Thompson, and hit a go-ahead three-pointer, silencing the crowd. And then on the next play, Malik Beasley dropped a wide-open look, couldn't get a shot, and right after this, his career was essentially ruined by gambling allegations. And this play did not really help him beat those allegations. He is not beating them. The Knicks win in 6, and Brunson had 40, OG had 25, and Mikal Bridges put up 22. In the second round, they matched up with the Celtics team that 4-0'd them in the regular season, and then went up by 16 at half and 20 in the third in the first game. But in the third, New York cut the lead to 6. With 4 minutes to go, Brunson gave New York a 94-91 lead. Brunson hit another 3. Brown and Tatum hit 2 free throws. Derek White hit a 3. Tatum misses 2 threes. OG hits a 3. Drew Holiday ties the game at 100. And then Brunson misses an open layup. It just rims out. And in overtime, the Knicks went up by 6, but Boston would cut it to 3. They got one last chance, and Jalen Brunson got stretched by Bridges, and the Knicks went up 1-0 behind 29 from OG and Brunson. In Game 2, the Celtics got off to a hot start, and they went up by 16 in the second, but late in the third, the lead would balloon to 20. New York went on a big run to make it 86-82 with 3.5 to go. Cat hit an and one. Brunson hit the 2 to give the Knicks their very first lead. Brunson then extended the lead. Tatum hit both free throws. The Celtics got a stop, and then Tatum went right down the middle for a dunk, while the Knicks players were just standing there like traffic cones. Then Brunson hit go-ahead free throws. Mikal Bridges stripped Tatum. Cat had 21 and 17. Josh Hart had 23, although Brunson shot just 6 of 19. And I'm not even gonna lie, I remember around these times, they had Super Jason ads to advertise the Superman movie. Super Jason, let's just say that didn't age well. Although the Superman movie, I saw that in theaters. It was a banger, though. Game 3 at MSG. Unfortunately for the Knicks, the Celtics would dominate Game 3, leading to a Game 4 where pretty much everyone believed that the winner would win the series. And to start, the Celtics would go up 8-2 early and led 39-28 after a quarter. At halftime, their lead was still 11. Tatum and Brunson were going at it. The former had 20, the latter had 13. Derek White hit a 3 to make it a 14-point lead. And I remember during this game, I was eating dinner with my family, and while we were eating a great meal, the Knicks went on a 14-2 run and led 88-85 after third. With 4:47 to go, the Knicks were up 107-104, and former Knick Kristaps Porzingis misses both free throws. New York Knick at heart. Then Brunson hits a midi to put them up 5. Mikal Bridges hits a 2. And Jaylen Brown loses the basketball. Tatum tries to die for it. And in this moment, the series was over. He falls to the ground. And Anunoby throws down a dunk. And Tatum is tragically wheeled off with a torn Achilles. Ending his 42-point night and his season, Brunson hit a dagger to put him up 12. And put him up 3-1. And in Boston, the Celtics got a dominant win behind 26-8-12 from Brown and 34 points and 7 threes from D. White. But in Game 6, there was really no question that the Knicks would win the series. They won by 38, and in the Eastern Conference Finals, they rematched the Pacers. Round 9, and in Game 1, both teams had a big offensive quarter, 36-34. The Knicks would lead. Holy voice crack. The Knicks would lead by 7 at halftime. Brunson hit a huge three to put him up 119-105 with 2:51. And then Halliburton hit a 3. Aaron Nesmith hit a 3, which isn't the last time you'll hear that. Siakam went 1 for 2 at the line. Brunson made it 121-112. Aaron Nesmith hit back-to-back threes. Then a cat layup was sandwiched in between. Nesmith hit another 3 to make it 123-121. Cat split the free throws. Nesmith hit both free throws. OG split the free throws. Then Halliburton took the ball at the three-point line. He bounced it. He shot it. He missed it.
Psych! I switched it!
He hit the choke sign and pointed at former Knicks villain Reggie Miller. But his foot was on the line, so the game would go to OT. But Indy won anyway. Hallie gambled every bit of his aura and won. Finished with 31-11. Nesmith had 30 and 8 threes, and Brunson and Towns finished with 43 and 35 respectively. Now, Game 2 was also pretty close, but Siakam put the Pacers on his back with 39, and Indy was up 2 heading back home. Tyrese Halliburton would throw down a dunk to put the Pacers up by 20 in the second quarter of Game 3, but Cat brought them back. He had 20 in the second half, and the Knicks won 106-100. But then Tyrese Halliburton had literally as close to a perfect game as you can have in this sport. 32 points, 15 rebounds, 12 assists, 0 turnovers, and the Pacers went up 3-1. In Game 5, New York got the win, but Game 6 in Indiana, Pacers got the W and headed back to the NBA Finals for the first time in 25 years. Also, shout out to, this was the final NBA game on TNT, so shout out to the trio of Kevin Harlan, Reggie Miller, and Stan Van Gundy. Now, part of the reason that the Knicks had lost to the Pacers was because their starters had, at this point, just been run into the ground. So as a result, they hired head coach Tom Thibodeau, and in his place came former Kings head coach Mike Brown, who actually used his bench. They opened the year at home against the Cavs and won. They won their group in the Cup and beat San Antonio in the Cup Fins. Fins is short for finals, by the way, as part of the 7-game win streak. January, however, was pretty rough. They had a stretch where they lost to Sacramento, and Mike Brown's return to Sacktown, Golden State, Phoenix, and then got belted at home by Dallas, of all teams. Dallas, yes, the Dallas Mavericks. They followed this up with a 54-point win over Brooklyn, the start of an 8-game losing streak. Then they got exposed by the Pistons, who they managed to avoid playing in the playoffs. Now, New York would have beat Detroit, but would have been more competitive than Cleveland, losing by 38 before beating the Celtics by 32, and at the deadline, they traded for New York native Jose Alvarado, who wasted no time, dropping 26 points and 8 threes. At All-Star break, they were 35-20. They got another win over San Antonio on the 1st of March. They went on a 6-game winning streak at the end of the month and finished 53-29 and got the 3 seed. Brunson averaged 26 and 7 assists. Cat averaged 20 and 11 boards, and in round 1, they matched up with the Hawks and took Game 1 at MSG, but in Games 2 and 3, CJ McCollum terrorized them and hit a game winner in Atlanta. But then Mike Brown made an adjustment and unlocked Karl Anthony Towns. Cat became a point forward, similar to Draymond, or 2019 Blake with the Pistons, or even LeBron. Cat made point guard-like reads, and thanks to his triple-double, the Knicks won Game 4 by 16, Game 5 by 29, and Game 6 by 51 to advance to the second round. Now, instead of playing Boston again, they matched up against the Sixers because the Celtics choked, and Brunson put up 35 in Game 1, and the Knicks won 137-98. Game 2 was tight, but the Knicks got the dub. Game 3 got away from Philly towards the end, and Game 4 was total domination. The Knicks hit 25 threes, Deuce McBride had 25 points and 7 triples, and the Knicks got 9 days before they had to play Game 1 against Cleveland. The first half of which was pretty close. Neither team could shoot, but eventually the Cavs started to catch fire. They went up 22 with 7.5 minutes, but the Knicks went on a 30-8 run to end the fourth quarter. Brunson attacked James Harden. Everyone on Cleveland but Mitchell was horrendous. Brunson had 38 and 6 assists. Cat had 13 boards and 5 assists, and the Knicks won 115-104 in OT. In Game 2, the Cavs just kept letting Josh Hart shoot, and they progressively looked dumber and dumber doing it. He had 26 points and 5 threes. And the Cavs just gave up at the end of Game 3, and it got to the point where head coach Kenny Atkinson stated, analytically, we're up 2-1. And analytically, 99.4% of the people who watched my last video aren't subscribed. I'm sorry, I had to. Game 4 was utter dominance, however. The Cavs lost by 37 points. Brunson won ECF MVP. The Knicks won their 10th straight game, and for the first time in 27 years, they would play in the NBA Finals. And just like last time, they would match up with the San Antonio Spurs. The Knicks got another 9 days of rest because the Spurs had gone to 7 against OKC. In Game 1, Jalen Brunson began the finals with the 3, and the Knicks started out on an 8-2 run. There were a lot of missed shots early on. Spurs led 27-19 after a quarter. Dylan Harper was just going at New York in the first, but at halftime, the Spurs still led by 55-48. In the middle of the third, the Spurs lead extended to 15. Then the Knicks went on a run and took the lead in the fourth. Wemby hit a 3 to make it 94-89 with 4.5 minutes. Champagnie went 1 of 2 at the line. Wemby got an and 1 layup. Then he hits 2 free throws, and with 2:16, OG misses a 3. The Knicks get an offensive rebound. Brunson hits a 3, complete with a Mike bring down. Bridges hits both free throws. Brunson hits a dagger midi, and the Knicks win 105-95. They ended on an 11-0 run. Brunson had 30 points on 31 shots. Cat had 18 and 12 boards, and he managed to hold Wemby to 6 of 21 shooting, while De'Aaron Fox shot just 3 of 13. In Game 2, the Spurs led 34-25 after a quarter, took a 14-point second quarter lead, but New York was able to take a 56-52 lead heading into the half. Then they took an 11-point lead in the third. With 6 minutes to go in this game, the Knicks led 97-83, but genuinely decided to choke. Dylan Harper hits 2 free throws, De'Aaron Fox hits a 3, and then a layup. Wemby hits a layup. Devin Vassell hits a 3 to cut it to 2. Dylan Harper ties it at 90-7. The Spurs go on a 14-0 run. Then OG hits 3 free throws. Brunson hits a layup. Harper hits a layup. Wemby gets an and one. Jalen hits a tough 2 to tie it at 104 with 39 seconds. Wemby and Brunson both miss shots. Wembanyama gets a rebound off of the Brunson miss, and with 12 seconds to go, throws the ball at Castle's back. Brunson takes it and is fouled. Then he misses the second, and then Wemby got a great look to win it, couldn't hit, and the Knicks go up 2-0 heading back home. And for New York, this was a great sign because Brunson was 19 of 56 from the field, and Cat had 0 fourth-quarter points. Now, in Game 3, Donald Trump decided to attend the game, forcing the fans that could pay thousands for the cheapest ticket to come 2 hours early, and forces those that couldn't out of their watch parties. Then the players had to go through a TSA security screening on the way in. All of that just for this dude to fall asleep mid-game. And very quickly, the Spurs got out to a 7-0 run and led 32-22 after a quarter. They quickly went up 12 in the early second quarter and ended the quarter on an 8-0 run, with the Garden jumping at this point. Hart hits a 3, then Brunson hits a 3, complete with the Mike Breen bang, and they led by 7 at halftime. The Spurs took the lead back in the mid-third quarter, led by 92-91 after 3, then went on an 8-2 run to start the fourth quarter. Jalen Brunson makes it 108-104 with 2:22, and then as the shot clock expires, Wemby gets it to Stephon Castle, who does this.
Winding down, Castle has to put it up.
OG goes 1 for 2 at the line. Brunson misses a 3. Then De'Aaron Fox hits a dagger midi. Spurs win 115-111, the Knicks' first loss in 44 days. Cat had just 11 points, but OG had 28 and Brunson had 32. Wemby had 32, 8, 6, and 3 blocks. Stephon Castle had 23 points, and despite them both shooting poorly, De'Aaron Fox once again was outperformed by Dylan Harper. And in Game 4, right away, Cat picked up 2 fouls, one of which was a pretty phantom call, to be honest. So in comes Mitchell Robinson, and yeah, this dude was gassed. So then comes Ariel Hawkporty, and then Mohamed Diawara. Yeah, they were playing a ton of centers in the first. Meanwhile, San Antonio genuinely hit everything in sight and led 76-49 at halftime. Mitchell Robinson hit Wemby in the chin with an elbow. Darth Wembanyama proclaimed to be in his head. Elite ball knowledge required for that one. And the Spurs were in the lead by 29. With 5:31 to go, the Knicks were able to cut the lead to 16, but they trailed 90-75 with a quarter to go. Cat hit a 3 in the fourth to cut the lead to 12. Castle hit both free throws. Cat hit a layup to make it 97-88. Castle and Brunson hit 2 free throws. Jalen hit a floater. OG hit a 3, complete with the Mike Breen bang. De'Aaron Fox hit a shot, a rare occurrence in these finals. Jose Alvarado hit a floater. Wemby had a midi. Jose hit a 3. Brunson hit a 3 over to Wemby, making it 104-103. De'Aaron Fox turns it over. Josh Hart blows an open layup, but is bailed out because Wemby misses both free throws. Then Jalen Brunson hits a floater to give the Knicks their first lead of the night. Fox misses, Castle gets an O-board and is fouled by Hart, and Stephon hits 2 free throws. Knicks call time with 30 seconds. Brunson misses a 2. De'Aaron Fox grabs a rebound, and instead of running, holding the ball, and getting fouled, he challenges OG Anunoby, gets fouled anyway, but the refs let it go. And the Knicks get the ball with 6 seconds to go. Brunson fires up a deep 3, horrible shot by the way, over a double team, but since they're so worried about him, they leave the inbounder OG open, and he flies to the rim for the tip-in with 1.2 seconds. Dylan Harper looks to inbound to Stephon Castle, who is wide open, but Cat saved the day, tipping the ball, forcing Castle to adjust to catch it. He then gets stripped, and the Knicks win 107-106 to pull off the greatest comeback in NBA Finals history. Brunson had 36 and 7 assists, OG had 33 and 7 threes, and Wemby scored 25 on 25 shots. Didn't shoot too efficiently. and the Knicks are one game away from winning it all. Game 5 back in San Antonio. Scoring was very difficult to come by, but the Knicks were down by 10 after a quarter. Early in the second, however, the Spurs went up by 16, and their lead was cut to 42-37 at half. Early in the third, the Spurs took a 12-point lead, made it 15 late in the third. Then the Knicks went on a 13-2 run, making it a 7-point game with 11 minutes. The Knicks then went on a 12-2 run to tie the game at 83 with 4:48. Then Devin Vassell hits a midi, Brunson hits 3 free throws, OG throws down a dunk, Wemby goes 1 of 2 at the line, Dylan Harper, who was the best player on the team tonight, had 25 points. He had a fall away too. Brunson hit another floater to make it 90-88. He had 15 points in this fourth. Fox misses a 3, Hart misses a 3, Dylan Harper misses an open layup, which probably cost him the game. However, but he can't be faulted for this loss. Josh Hart goes 1 of 2 at the line. Mitchell Robinson, however, gets an offensive rebound on the second free throw. OG goes 1 of 2 at the line. Wemby misses a 3. Steph Castle hits his first and only field goal of the night with 16.3 to make it 92-90. And while he was great all playoffs long, he was horrible tonight. Mikal Bridges goes 1 of 2 at the line. Dylan Harper goes 0 for 2 at the line. OG goes 1 of 2 at the charity stripe. Wemby misses a 3, and Anunoby grabbed the final board of this season, and the Knicks won 94-90 and win the series in 5 games. Yeah, I know this is about New York, but I'll start with the Spurs. I would be shocked if they don't win a ring in the next 5 years. Wemby had a bad shooting performance. Castle also did. Fox shot to 3 of 15. Meanwhile, his replacement dropped 25. And now for the Knicks, Cat shot just 1 of 7. Brunson put the team on his back with 45, and the drought was over. San Antonio, and honestly everyone else, acted like the Knicks were a stepping stone to the title, but this team never gave up, ever. Josh Hart was thrown away by the Pelicans, Lakers, and Blazers. Jalen Brunson was thrown away by Dallas and called too small. Mikal was traded for too many picks, and now he can shoot 2% and genuinely no one would care. OG was overpaid, allegedly, but he came up massive. Karl Anthony Towns was called too zesty and traded from Minnesota for a dubious handle. Yeah, this is actually funny, though. I'm not gonna lie. Jose Alvarado escapes New Orleans. Landry Shamet was also thrown away by several teams. Mitchell Robinson was on the team at literally every point during this video. Tyler Kolek was mistaken for a fan at the championship parade. They trailed 22 with 7.5 minutes, trailed by 29 in the third, went 16-3 in the playoffs. In the words of Mike Breen, life is not always perfect, but there are perfect moments. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see y'all next time.